shooting, scoring! And what a snipe!
Oh, he smoked them like a Christmas ham, as we say.
Back cross ice, what a save by Laurel! History has repeated itself! Greater Sudbury has won back-to-back NOJHL championships!
The puck is dropping soon, and there's tons to cover. What's going on, folks? I'm Alex Bastianski. Another game day is upon us, and here's what you need to know before the action kicks off today. It would be stating the obvious to say that last season didn't go the way the Powassan Voodoos hoped it would. After a good start that saw them in the top half of the standings leading up to the Christmas break, the wheels came off in the second half of the season, and the boys in green ended up getting swept by the Hearst Lumberjacks in the first round of the playoffs.
Really unfortunate finish. 4 straight to Hearst too. That always hurts, and they had a great team last year, and we're within a 1 game of winning the championship. But you know, at the end of the day, it fuels me. It makes me work harder. It makes me be better. And I worked hard this summer. Didn't get a lot of sleep thinking about last year, and definitely did not want to repeat last year at all.
But things look and feel different this season early on. Boy, do they ever.
Now the other way, the Voodoos on the attack is Brownlee. Brownlee with a shot, he scores!
Powassan has shot out to a 3-0 start, and in their last game, they came back from a 2-0 third period deficit to beat the 2-time defending champion Sudbury Cubs. Coach Peter Goulet couldn't be happier with the way his team has played.
It's, you know, the way we've started, and you know, it's definitely a great start. It's early. You know, all these teams are going to get better. You know, the games haven't been easy, but I think they're great wins for us after last year, after the finish to last year's season. And you know, we got to keep in mind we're going to be better, but all these other teams are going to be better too down the road.
Powassan has been led offensively by Anthony Boyes, who missed all of the 2023-24 season before returning last year. While that was an adjustment period, he certainly found his stride now.
I knew he was going to have a great year. And sorry, I know last year was a challenge for him after missing a whole year of hockey and stepping into junior A hockey. And this year he's hit the ground running and off to a great start, and we're super excited he's back and on our side.
Anthony Boyes, his second of the game, his 4th of the season.
And right behind him are 2 Voodoo vets, Caden Cowell and Justin Rousseau.
And Caden is a special talent. He's a power forward, the ability to score and make plays. He has the ability to play in all situations, and we're definitely lucky to have Caden Cowell back with us.
Cowell walks in, takes a shot, he scores!
Justin Russo, you can't say enough about his leadership. He's our captain. Tremendous young man. He was a captain of the North Bay U18 Trappers a couple years ago. Won the championship, and he's carried it on with us. He's been a pro since he's been here in his first 2 years, and this year he's our captain and going to lead this team.
Ryan Saginaw has been fantastic as well, with 6 points in 3 games. And in goal, North Bay Battalion draft pick Cole Vrugdenhill has been a wall. The 15-year-old rookie has shown the poise of a veteran.
He's not even 16 years old yet. He's gone in and played 2 great games. You know, he gave us a chance against Sudbury, held us in there, and the young man's off to a great start, and got a bright hockey future.
It feels like it's been ages since the Voodoos last won a title back in 2017, but they're all in this season and look like they'll be a serious contender to still be playing come next May.
You know, our attention to detail has to be there every game, and that's only going to get better as we coach and go through video, and it's going to be great. I got a great team, great bunch of guys, you know, solid start to the season. And we're only going to get better, but we got to keep in mind the other teams are going to get better too.
Good chance here, Dawson scores! Caleb Dawson, his 1st of the season. Nice pickoff by Dostar.
Yeah, they have looked great so far, and tonight's game is going to be a dandy. The Espanola Paper Kings in town to face the Voodoos. Espanola much improved this season, of course. Last year, the team split 4 games between them, so very competitive. Powassan, of course, trying to stay undefeated, 3-0 so far in the campaign. Espanola coming off a fantastic game against Kirkland Lake in which they showed their moxie, coming back from a third period deficit to win the game. 3-2 so far this year, plus 12 goal differential, and if Powassan's going to want to win this game, they're going to have to shut down the big 3 on Espanola of Joseph Coates, Owen Smith, and Cameron Menard. All 3 are in the top 5 of the league scoring race right now. Between them, they have combined for 32 points. It's going to be a great tilt. Yeah, and just always remember that all throughout the NOJHL season, to stay up to date on everything that's going on with the league, be sure to check out its official social media outlets. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Welcome in to the Powassan Sportsplex for another edition of Voodoos Hockey, brought to you by Average Joe's. Whether you're listening on the Frontline YouTube channel or watching live, Slow Hockey, we have an exciting evening of hockey in store as the Powassan Voodoos host the Espanola Paper Kings. I'm Ben Sargent alongside Harrison Clements. An exciting start of the season for the Voodoos, Harrison, as they have won all 3 games, starting off last Friday with a 6-3 win over the Sioux Thunderbirds. Then the next night, defeating the Sioux Eagles 5-1 here in the Sportsplex, before going off to the road to face the big bad Greater Sudbury Cubs, taking down the reigning champs 4-2.
And a big comeback game that was for the Voodoos, starting off those first 2 periods down, and then a roaring comeback headed by Captain Justin Russo. And the Voodoos are just looking to keep the train rolling. One of the few undefeated teams in the league. Of note, Espanola has played 2 more games than the Voodoos have. Espanola is 3-2, playing a total of 5, while the Voodoos just playing their 4th against the Paper Kings tonight.
Well, as you said, again, the Paper Kings having a bit of a tough start to the season so far, as they have just not had the same amount of success as the Voodoos have. They've lost to Hearst, the Thunderbirds. They finally picked up a win on the road against Kirkland Lake their last time out. And one of the big things we're going to be talking about in this game is going to be the U18 Trappers, as they opened up their season with back-to-back thrilling 6-5 wins over the Sioux Junior Greyhounds this past weekend. The reason I'm bringing it up is the connection that organization has, and it's on open display tonight for both teams. As we are going to dive into the storylines this evening, we're going to talk more about it a little bit later, but the Voodoos do have 11 players on the roster that have worn a Trappers jersey, and 12 of the 15 goals they've scored have come from those players. Ryan Saginaw, his 3 goals are the only goals that have come from a player that has not donned the red, blue, and white, and to score for Powassan this season. The Paper Kings also have a few as well, including Owen Smith, who's one of our players to watch here this evening, the Battalion property, with 9 points in 5 games.
Indeed, the Trappers have been a great feeder organization for the NOJHL. We've seen lots of action, called a couple of games ourselves. One guy we do want to talk about, do we want to get into our players to watch?
Absolutely. I already said Owen Smith. Who do we have for the Trappers? Or, sorry, for the Voodoos. I've been doing the Trappers all weekend for the Voodoos.
You have had quite the back-to-back. We do have Voodoo Anthony Boys, who had 10 goals in 4 games last year, already has 4 goals in 3 games this season, and is on a 3-game point streak to start the year. Boys returning this year after being out most of last season with some injury, has made a roaring return to the green this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been it should be a very exciting game here, as we talked about. Boy's one of those guys who was able to get things going for the Trappers. He was part of that big winning team when they had Jesse Lefebvre, they had Caleb Dawson, and so for him to be able to come in and finally, I think, maybe feel like he's doing his part where, you know, it takes a couple of years sometimes to get used to it. We saw even a guy like Caleb Dawson have some struggles hitting the net even last year. Like, there were times where he had some dry spells. He's going to be a big part of this Voodoos lineup. He's now on the top line with Justin Russo and Jesse Lefebvre, another person who was on that lineup for the Trappers. It should be a really exciting game here. As you said, Espanola is a team that has not had the same success as the Voodoos this year, but they're still a dangerous team when they want to be.
Oh, talk about dangerous. The way they started off this season is nothing short of ridiculous. Their first game, they blanked the Beavers 9-0, then 8-2 the Lumberjacks. They slowed things down a bit the next night against the Lumberjacks. As should be stated, the Paper Kings started off their season in a 3-3, with 2 of those being against the Hearst Lumberjacks. They top off the scoring in the league, specifically with Joseph Coates with 13 points and 5 goals being of those points for Coates, as well in the top 5 of points being said Owen Smith with 9 points himself for those being goals.
It's going to be a very fascinating game. A lot of storylines, as we mentioned, a lot of connections between these two teams that are very close to each other. Again, you talk about Sudbury. This is in that same kind of corridor as we get set for the national anthems, and then we'll come back. We'll see our goaltenders. We'll get our starting goalies, as it should be an interesting one. So we'll take it right after we get back from the national anthems. So we're going to take a look at our starting goaltender. Starting in net for the Espanola Paper Kings, playing, this will be his 5th game of the season. Jack Helke gets the start. He's 2-1, a .203 goals against average, .955 save percentage. And on the other side, a man who has very similar but slightly better numbers, the newcomer battalion prospect, Cole Rugenhill, who has 2-0, a 1.5 goals against average, and the same slightly higher, .959 save percentage. It is going to be a tough night to put pucks in the back of the net.
And Rugenhill made sure of that in the previous game against the Greater Sudbury Cubs. He's a huge part of why the ability to come back in that game was even possible. Your starting lineup tonight for the Powassan Voodoos, though, is Justin Russo, Jesse Lefebvre, Caleb Dawson, that toss line starting off. On defense, you have Marcus Kratz, Dylan Roussel, and, of course, as we said, Rugenhill in net.
As we get underway, it is the Espanola Paper Kings, and they're visiting whites with the lime green accents, the blue pants. On the other side, the Voodoos come in their home. Dark green with the yellow stripes, black pants, as already a fiery start. Again, the Sportsplex, a very small arena, very small rink. Lots of, not a lot of space to move around in. A lot of bodies get in. Puck comes into the Voodoos zone. It's going to be now picked up in the defensive zone by Dylan Rousseau. Rousseau gets it. He finds himself, and now he's all alone, but there's going to be a penalty called, and the Voodoos get away with one right away. As Rousseau got tripped, lost the puck, and going now to the penalty box is going to be Cameron Menard. So it's going to be an early power play opportunity here for the Voodoos, just about 40 seconds or 37 seconds into this hockey game.
And the Powassan Voodoos have to take advantage of this. To start off this season, they were given a lot of power play opportunities, but were not quite able to capitalize.
So the face-off is won by the Voodoos as they try to strike while the iron's hot. It goes back to the point. There's a shot. It's stopped by Helke. He gets his first save of the game, and he's going to hold on as that one came from the point. off of the stick of Braden Begley. And talk about a big break there for the Voodoos, because if that was not a penalty, if that penalty didn't get called, it would have been a wide open net. Nobody else was around. Face off again, won by the Voodoos. Another shot from the point by Begley, and it goes off a stick and out of play.
So the Voodoos have a 26.7 power play percentage. Hardly anything to sneeze at. They have had 15 opportunities in the 3 games that they have played, but they have only scored 4 goals on those chances.
Caden Cowell shot from the point as the Trappers are now 3 for 3 on these offensive zone faceoffs. And now Cowell's stick breaks, and here's an opportunity by Guthrie. Guthrie's got a man with him. He finds the open man. Short-handed the shot as he goes back to Guthrie. Might be kicking himself as Guthrie's kind of tight angled shot goes off the pad of Rudenhill. And the Voodoos get away with another mistake in their own defensive zone and almost a short-handed goal here from the Paper Kings. A minute and a half in. Voodoos looking to come back here through the neutral zone. And there's now a couple of bodies going down, as there was a great chance there from Saginaw. Again, the only Voodoo player who is not of Trapper descent. Cowell does a good job as Rudenhill sends it down, and Cowell just gets a stick on it to go for a change to keep it from being icing. And now the puck is cleared back into the Voodoo zone as it hops over the stick right at the blue line. Past the stick of Marcus Kratz. Another burst of speed, Rousseau. He sends it along. Here's a good opportunity from Kratz. Kratz shoots, and Helke makes the save and will hold on with what looks to be about 21 seconds-ish left on the clock. We can't really see how many minutes are left on the power play from our vantage point because of the great Zamboni doors here at the Sportsplex.
Well, you want to talk about numbers quickly, Ben. The Paper Kings have been shorthanded 26 times. They have a 100% penalty kill percentage and 3 shorthanded goals for.
Well, they almost had 4. Face off on the draw. There's a shot. Helke makes a nice blocker save. Not surprising that Kratz with a nice shot from the point. Again, Peter Goulet love using that fourth forward, as many do on the power play. Tend to go with 4 forwards, 1 defenseman. Now going all the way back to his own line is Dylan Rousseau. Again, lots of pressure here from the high press. As really making life tough is Penatanowick. Puck back in the zone. Kratz has it in his own zone. The power play over, back to 5-on-5. Voodoos again looking to break into the offensive zone. There's a nice little dangle, but just off of his stick there of Jesse LaFave. One of those 11 Trapper players we were talking about before on this Voodoos roster. DeBox. DeBox, a guy who's found his way into normal play time. He was an AP player just a couple years ago and has found himself a regular here in Peter Goulet's lineup. There's a pass out in front. It's picked off nicely by Coates. Voodoos again in their own zone. And you can really feel the lack of space here in the Sportsplex. As now it's Helke plays it now behind the net. Here's a chance in front. It gets blocked, and now the puck in the skates. Back to the point. Shot. It's tipped and wide. A good opportunity there for the Voodoos as it was tipped wide. Deverin's Brown's shot just going wide of Helke. Puck tried to get dumped in. It hit off of Bradley. And now the Paper Kings through the neutral zone. It's just dumped in. Rudenhill has it behind his own net. He's going to leave it, now play it, and now he kind of almost makes a mistake there, but he gets away with it. Sent back in by the Paper Kings. They have to check up at the blue line as Spencer was offside. Voodoos again getting pressured hard. Millar not letting him through. But now the Voodoos break through the line. In through the neutral zone. Pass looking to connect with Heath Bradley, but he just let it go. Heath Bradley, a guy who had a lot of success with the Chippewa Ravens in the NDA last season. Now finds himself in the node. Him and his brother played quite a bit as the puck is now dumped in, and it's going to be held on for a face-off to the left of the Espanola netminder.
You've seen a quick adjustment here from the Voodoos when they're making a change. Espanola's been so aggressive on the forecheck, and as you were mentioning a bit earlier, the pace of game is very fast here at the Powassan Sportsplex. They're making sure to gain the red line, get some more space so that they're not caught on the back foot while changing players.
Face-off again won by the Voodoos. They are perfect 4 for 4 in offensive zone draws here this evening as Helke holds on to it again. A little bit of chirping here after the whistle, but nothing comes to it. So you can see Captain Justin Rousseau getting to wear the C for the first time this year. Last year, Jackson Smith wore it for quite a bit when he came over from Calgary. And it's always nice to see these players who you saw when they first broke in with the Voodoos, and then only a short few years later, they find themselves being leaders. We saw that with Scott Siegel of the U18 Trappers as well, who ended up scoring the overtime winning goal on Saturday in dramatic fashion. The Voodoos still getting pressured hard in their zone, and it's only a matter of time before that mistake leads to a goal. It almost has a couple times here this evening. Bringing it up is Rousseau. Rousseau gets his pocket pick. Now the other way come Espanola. They can't keep it in. Good job there by Smith to keep it in. He's got a man in front. That shot, and it was tipped but wide. Another tough angle shot. As Rugenhill's faced a couple of weird angled shots, but hasn't faced anything dead on so far in the first 5.5 minutes. But it is the Voodoos with a 5-1 shot advantage. Give or take, as Harrison's doing his first job as the shot counter. Doing a good job as that one comes in.
That'll count.
Now you're just wondering, what is a shot? As the puck is almost stolen, but able to be kept up there by Cowell. Cowell shot right into the glove of Helke, and that'll be a face-off off to Helke's right.
The pace of play is nothing that you wouldn't expect from teams such as Powassan and Espanola. Espanola throughout the years has just been aggressive on the forecheck. They play with speed. They just try and go at you as fast as they can for as many minutes as possible. And while not many pucks have reached the net, they've certainly had the most high danger opportunities out of any team here.
And as you said, a hot start to the season, 17-ish goals in the first 2 games. And then after that here's Coates. Coates, he's got a man with him. He leaves it for Menard. He's coming around. He gets it in front for Coates, wide open. What a save from Rudenhill. Puck's still loose, and they can't put it in. What a golden opportunity. Now another one goes wide. What a save from Rudenhill as he gets around and gets the body in front of it. And what a good passing play from the Paper Kings. I'm sure Peter Goulet is not too happy on the bench there with how his defense is playing here, but their goaltender is bailing them out as that'll go down for icing. And what an opportunity there. Menard had a great chance on the other side. Guthrie, another one for the Paper Kings, but Rugenhill comes up big.
Just a second too long, and Rugenhill's able to track the puck, get over, and just barely make that save. But right now, Espanola is just finding gaps in the Powassan defense very easily. They enter the zone, they set up quickly, and they get a quick shot towards the net. Powassan has to tighten up very fast, or things will start going south quickly.
Well, the faceoff now coming back to center ice. A little interesting, but they'll take it right at the center dot. And the faceoff is won by Bradley. There's a one that's clipped off the glass by Begley. And now the Voodoos pick it up behind the net. They're going up to the far side. The puck is left, and now it's going to be picked up by Tyler Thompson of the Paper Kings. And then also left for Joseph Coates. Begley sends it into the neutral zone. Brownlee with it. Brownlee sends it over, and it's going to get out of his control, and it'll be an easy pickup there for Jack Helke.
The Voodoos not finding much space in the offensive zone. They're being kept to the outside due to the heavy checking from the Paper Kings. They're more than comfortable to put 2 guys on the puck carrier on the strong side, try and force something out, and clear the zone quickly to go on the attack. So far, it's been working for them.
Well, a little neat note. We were talking about how you see people grow, and we've seen Rousseau, we've seen Dawson grow. How about Rousseau? He's 99th game tonight in the NOJHL. Saturday will be his 100th, assuming he plays. Here's an opportunity now. A penalty is going to come up, and it's going to go against Powassan, as it'll be Marcus Kratz, I believe, who was involved in the play there. He's going off to the box. as Caleb Dawson is the leader with 106 NOJHL games. Kind of crazy to think that Caleb Dawson is the veteran when it comes to appearances on this hockey team.
I feel like ever since I've started calling games, it's been Russo and Dawson together playing on the penalty kill, and Russo is such an effective penalty killer. He can go in as the lone forechecker and just kill so much time on his own as we see him entering the zone first.
So it's Marcus Kratz going off to the box as the Paper Kings get their first opportunity. Now there's one in front. Voodoos has to hold it. A lot of pressure. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of pressure, but there are some eyes here tonight. Ryan Houlihan, the head coach of the North Bay Battalion, here to watch a couple of his prospects, and Owen Smith and Voodoos play. As haven't seen too much of Owen Smith here in the early goings.
Not on.
He's on there now. He's taking the face off there. Number 27 is the guy to keep an eye for.
Not on the ice tonight, but Jax Pereira will also be joining the Voodoos shortly, from what we have heard.
Yep. A lot of stuff moving in here in the early points. The Voodoos are chasing Hearst, who are leading the league right now. They are perfect, but they played 5 games. Or check that. They're not perfect, but they do have more games as the face-offs now, the puck is dumped into the Espanola zone. Hearst is 4-1, so 8 points. So a win tonight by the Voodoos would put them level on points with a couple games in hand, or 1 game in hand, I should say. As now it's stolen. Here's a shorthanded opportunity. Shot and goes high and wide. What a good chance there. Jesse Lefebvre.
And a lot of pressure here from the Voodoos on this penalty kill. Espanola has got more going on 5-on-5, and again, the Voodoos with the puck at central ice, and they're able to dump it in.
Here's Lefebvre, and that's off. I believe that hit the post. That one went flying. He's still looking for his first point on the season, and he had a glorious chance there, shorthanded. 25 seconds still to go. You wouldn't even think that the Paper Kings were on a power play at this point. Both teams have had shorthanded opportunities, but with a burst of speed, here come the Paper Kings. Drigo, his shot. It goes off Menard's stick. Puck is up. Drigo has it. Drigo sends it to his partner behind the net at the blue line. Raphael Landry. Now in the far corner, they're fighting for it. It comes out, and Owen Logan, or check that, Jackson Marnell sends it down, and now again, both Voodoos and Paper Kings players going hard for the puck. As it was Anthony Boyes. We talked about how he's had a strong start to the season. Picked up now by Powassan. Here's a chance. Brownlee, or check that, Caden Cowell. As the Paper Kings are able to get it out of the zone. There's a big hit at center ice. Loisel and Cowell getting into it. Now here's Boyes. His shot. It goes off his stick and goes wide. Voodoos again. Another shot from a tight angle. Goes into the glove of Helke, and he'll hang on for the whistle with 10:07 to go in this opening frame.
I mean, if you want to talk about a penalty kill, that's about as good as you can get from Powassan, spending the majority of the time in the Paper Kings zone. And unfortunately for the Paper Kings, things that are working at 5-on-5 just aren't working on the man advantage, as prior to this game, they're operating at a 14.8 power play percentage, the 3rd worst in the league at this point.
Espanola wins the faceoff, but they can't clear. It's held in. There's a shot high and wide off of Dylan Russell. But the puck comes all the way down, and then there's an interesting play off of Kratz's stick as he loses the handle, and almost a great opportunity for Espanola in the Voodoos zone. The Voodoos now break out again. They're able to stay on side as they gain the entry. There's a shot that's stopped by Helke. The shot comes out, the rebound, and now a chance right there, and they score! What a goal from the Voodoos right in the high slot. Wide open is Caleb Dawson. And how about that in his 107th NOJHL game? He's going to pick up the opening goal, and that's going to be his 3rd of the season. And now 3 goals in 4 games for the veteran.
What a great adjustment from Powassan. They find themselves on the back foot. They have an excellent penalty kill. They keep up that pressure they start wearing down Espanola, and on that zone entry, the Espanola defenders just looked a little lax, created too many gaps, and then Dawson finds himself wide open in the slot and is able to hammer that one home.
As we're back underway, now 1-0 Voodoos. They're out shooting with 12-4. As Voodoos try to gain entry, and they end up losing the puck to Tyler Thompson. And Thompson just gets it out of the zone. As Drigo and Devin Brown collide in the neutral zone. The puck in the Paper King zone. Again, you'd think we wouldn't see too many goals, as here's Espanola looking for their reply. The puck's loose right there. Rutenhill, nice save, another chance. That goes off the post. Back to the point, another shot. It doesn't get through the crowd in front of Rutenhill. Espanola with possession. A shot from the point goes wide. Thompson with it, his shot out in front, and it goes off his skate and goes wide. Now the two number 7s, Drigo and Devin Brown, fighting in the far corner. Puck comes loose behind the zone, and it's picked up by the Paper Kings. A nice little kick out into the slot area, but it's met with only a green jersey, as I was trying to look for a visiting white. There's a shot. That one's tipped but wide. Voodoos now have possession, as Espanola has to go off for a change, and so they concede possession. And now a bad pass out of the zone almost results in a good opportunity for the Paper Kings, but as they're in the middle of a change, they get away with it. More sloppy mistakes by the Voodoos in their own zone. And now there's trying to get into the zone was Heath Bradley, and he gets knocked down. Puck comes all the way down, and that'll be an icing call versus Espanola with 7:47 left in the opening frame.
And Espanola takes that opportunity after the goal. They regroup, they fight back, they start forcing mistakes, they start forcing those opportunities that were showing themselves early. So far, nothing getting through, but the Paper Kings never slow down. They are relentless in everything they do. If you look at the scoreline from the top two games, they just kept scoring goals, and it looks like they're just relying on quantity as much as possible from the outside at this point.
Looks like somebody almost got their skate up on Helke, but it was hard to tell if that was a white or a green jersey. Either way, Helke's okay.
And with that, it sounds like we're getting our mid-period break.
Okay, so we'll be right back in just a few minutes. As we welcome you back into the Sportsplex here, as there's about 5 seconds left in the mid-period break. 1-0 Powassan so far, shots 12-6, and it really has been a chance on both sides for either team to take the lead in this one.
Well, Powassan has the shots up 12-6. The shot opportunities have got to be in favor of the Paper Kings. They're entering the zone aggressively and throwing as much metaphorical mud at the wall as they can, just trying to break through. Rutenhill's had quite a few big-time saves already on the shots that have gotten through. If the Paper Kings keep up the pace, someone's going to go their way.
You said the Paper Kings probably have more big chances, especially mistakes in the defensive zone by the Voodoos. That one just out of the reach of Mason Brownlee, but he's able to get it back in, but the Voodoos do have to check up. And then Brownlee sends it back in, as again they had to check up, as Raphael Landry was still in the zone. This comes down, no icing calls, as Coates is there for the Paper Kings, and now there's going to be a penalty here against the Voodoos, their second. Unless they're calling that, they might be calling that no, they're calling that a penalty. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a high stick or not, but going into the penalty box there is number 3, Ben Jasuni.
Ben Jasoni.
Jasoni, there you go.
Ben
I'm
Jasoni.
still getting used to some of these names.
This is your first broadcast of the year for the Voodoos, correct?
It is, and there's a lot of new players.
There is.
We did get the phonetic spellings. Thank you to Thomas Mercier for that.
Thank you. Shout out Thomas.
But you still got to practice them a couple of times, as we were doing before the game with Ashton Batanawano, as we've been trying to get that one down. So the Voodoos and Paper Kings now fighting in the far corner. It's the Voodoos who win that, and they get it out of the zone. And with a burst of speed, here comes Dawson one-on-one. Dawson makes his move around the defender. Dawson, a shot stopped by Helke. A good shorthanded chance. Now the Voodoos did have a great shorthanded opportunity in their last power play opportunity. Paper Kings looking to set up something they didn't really get a chance to on their last power play. Now pass forward, what a shot, what a goal! As the Paper Kings tie it up, it's Carter Drigo. With a power play goal, it's 1-1, and not much Rugendiel could do on that one, as that's cleanly through the slot area, and an easy goal for Drigo.
I mean, if you're a coach, you can't draw it up much better than that. You get the space, you get the open shooter just below the face-off dot. Try to make the goalie move as laterally as possible. No matter how good you're trying to be, that's beating you 10 out of 10 times. And just as quickly, Espanola is back in this game.
So it's a 1-1 game. Again, when you look at that from Rugenhill's perspective, he did everything right, and he almost got his glove up there. If it was just a little bit lower, but still, I think the big thing is he can't allow those kind of passes to go through about almost the entire team cleanly to the opposite dot. And then from there, for Drigo, it's pretty much as easy of a shot you're going to get on the power play.
I mean, the Voodoos setup was correct. It was, as you said, just getting through cleanly. There was no sticks in any of the lanes. It was just players in position, and that results in a goal.
So, power play goal. Paper Kings now 1 for 2. 6 minutes to go. 1-1 hockey game, and you knew it's going to be tight. And then the question is, are both teams who've had some goal-scoring success, are we going to see a high goal-scoring affair or a low one when you consider the numbers that these goaltenders bring into this game? Both of them coming in with a plus 950 save percentage and a goal against average right around 2 and lower. Cowell steals that outlet pass. Cowell now for Dawson, looking for his second of the game. And it goes wide as he goes hard into the boards. Cowell now has it. He's looking for some help. He gets the puck down, but it gets off his stick behind the net. And then Caleb Dawson looking for somebody in the slot, and no one was free. Here's Dawson. He's looking for somebody as it goes past the stick of Jesse Lefebvre. Now a good, strong defensive play by Russo. Lefebvre picks it up. He's got Dawson with him, but Dawson is slightly offside, and that will kill that rush opportunity.
And just excellent second and third opportunities provided by Lefebvre and Russo. Just getting active sticks on the puck, just keeping up the pressure relentlessly, and creating a few high-danger opportunities. Again, an open pass to the slot that doesn't quite find Lefebvre, but the Voodoos are getting those chances time and time again.
We're seeing a little bit more of Ben Jasoni, as I'm still trying to get that name right, but we did see him make a couple of good plays in the neutral zone, as he really helped make that rush happen. And of course, that top line of Lefebvre, Russo, and Dawson, the former Trapper line there, as the puck is dumped in. Paper Kings have it, 4:30 to go. Menard, he loses possession. Good play defensively by Powassan in the neutral zone. Puck is wrapped around, but not good enough. Dubois has it. Dubois, the shot from the high slot area. Coming off the stick there. Batanoanic. Now both teams fighting for it in the near corner. Puck wraps around the Voodoos net. Goes over to the box. The box can't get it out either. Puck still in the Voodoo zone. Here's Logan. Logan gets it up for Drigo, the goal scorer. Drigo, he goes through. He's going through about 4 different Voodoos. He gets a shot off. He scores. What a goal! his second of the game. My, oh my, as Carter Drigo makes it 2-1 Voodoos. He goes around 3 different Voodoo players, shoots between 2 of them, and finds the almost top shelf over the glove side of Rugenhill.
I mean, what a second and third effort just forces that goal to happen. That's fighting for a zone entry, fighting for your space, fighting to get the puck away. And that's a strong physical play by Drigo.
His 3rd and 4th of the season now, as he finds himself up to 7 points in his 6 games. Almost a goal for, if he can complete the hat trick, he'll be a goal per game scorer. Voodoos do get the puck in right after it. They're looking to tie things up before we go to the break. 3.5 minutes to go. Puck to the point. There's a slap pass trying to go off the boards. We used to see the battalion do that a number of years ago. Doesn't quite work out to what they had drawn up. Puck is now in the back to the point. Jackson Marnell keeps it in. Lots of fighting in the near side boards. A number of green and white jerseys with it, but it's the white jerseys that break out. Smith now will just dump it down. It goes over top of the stick of Bagley, and he'll have to find it. And now he tries the outlet pass. He was looking there for Brownlee. Puck still loose in the Espanola zone, right at near the top, and now it's fed into the neutral zone, and here comes the break. Loiselle loses it, and he sends it into the Voodoo zone, and now again that press, that high press from the Paper Kings causing issues. We talk about that high flyer, high energy style from the Paper Kings, and it's on full display here. Voodoo's trying to find momentum, tilting their way, and a good way to get through that was Marcus Kratz, who still has the puck. He sends it to the point. There's a shot from the top circle, and that's kicked away by Helke. And now another shot floats into his glove off the stick there of Dylan Russell.
The Voodoos are finding these good zone entries, whether it's from a quick one-touch pass or whether it's forcing your way through with speed like Kratz does. It's just getting those secondary opportunities from good shot spots that have been evading the Voodoos in the last half of this period. They've had a couple chances, but nothing quite as dangerous as what the Paper Kings have been able to put in the back of the net.
It's going to be an interesting second period to see the adjustments that both of these coaches make, because I'm sure that both coaches are kind of liking what they see, but probably wanting to make a few changes, especially if you're Peter Goulet on the Voodoo side. When you look at it with some of the defensive zone play, Espanola taking advantage of that, playing with such a good high press here. 1:49 to go. Puck is dumped in off the stick of Caleb Dawson, who's the lone goal scorer for the Voodoos, and that clearing attempt is going to be picked up by Russo. Now the puck's going to wrap around to the near side, and doing a good job to keep it in there. Zoni, and now there's a shot from Russo right into the body of Helke, and he'll hold on.
Helke sees that the entire way, is able to pick his angle and basically seal off the entire net from that harsh of an angle. We've seen quite a few shots from those harsh angles by the Voodoos, either just below the circle, and we've seen a few wraparound attempts that he's been able to steer off quite effectively. Helke is definitely in the game, as he has stopped 15 of 16 shots so far.
DeBox with it. DeBox, short, tight angle shot. Helke makes the easy save with the body. Again, big hit right in front of the linesman as Anthony Boyes puts down his man, Cameron Menard. Ferry. Now for Menard, who comes from that hit. What a save from Rugenhill as he comes over. Menard was slow to get up after that hit from Boyes. Nobody tracked him, and he had a wide open net there, and Rugenhill comes over and makes the stop. Another opportunity as Ferries puts down Devon Brown in the neutral zone. Menard now, it's a 3-on-2 opportunity. The Coates is on the other side. Menard's shot goes high and wide, and it'll go out of play with 46 seconds to go. Again, it's 2-1 Espanola.
And it could have been a lot more due to the defensive gaps that they are finding. The odd man rushes, the multiple quick pass opportunities that have created high danger chances have just been revealing themselves to the Paper Kings. It has not been a good defensive look from the Voodoos in the last half of this period.
The funny thing you say that, though, is Carter Rodrigo's second goal was definitely not a defensive mistake, as he did everything right there and shot through 2 defensemen, but it's been all of the other times that they've been able to get away with it. Here's Russo in the dying seconds. 30 seconds ago, he had Caleb Dawson on the far side, but he loses possession. And now Coates trying with the outlet pass, trying to break out Owen Head. Or check that, sorry, Potanawanek. And now here's a chance for Russo. Russo coming in, he dances around and he goes wide. What an opportunity from the Voodoos captain to tie things up with under 10 seconds to go. And he somehow shoots it wide. He had Helke down and out, and he couldn't find the back of the twine, as that will do it for the opening period. It's 2-1, should have been 2-2, but Justin Russo just couldn't quite find the back of the net, as, again, the Voodoos will find themselves down 1, and Harrison, as we head into the first intermission. We've seen some high-flying hockey so far in the opening 20 minutes.
The pressure from both teams has been admirable. Neither team has slowed down, but the Paper Kings are just squeezing out those marginal advantages. They're beating the Voodoos offensively. They're finding those gaps, but the Voodoos are just making up for that in shot volume, trying to get as much towards the net as they can from in close, and Helke's just been on top of his game. Just as we saw in the last few seconds of the period, his tracking's been impeccable. His secondary, tertiary efforts to just shut down the play have been commendable. It will be curious to see how the second period turns out with all these efforts being made on both sides of the ice.
So the Voodoos do outshoot Espanola 19-8 after that period. However, it is the Paper Kings holding a 2-1 lead. Both goals coming off the stick of Carter Drigo, including one beauty with about 5 minutes left in the period. So we will take a break. When we come back, we will have the second period. Don't go anywhere. It should be an exciting next 40 minutes here. You are watching the Voodoos hockey here on the Frontline YouTube channel and on Flow Hockey. And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex as we get ready for the second period. Ben Sargent alongside me, Harrison Clements, as it's 2-1 Espanola. Quick scoring rundown. Caleb Dawson opened the scoring at 10:26. Justin Rousseau and Jesse Lefebvre getting the assist. Dawson's third of the season. And then it was Carter Drigo, his first goal of the game, assisted by Ashton Detenawanowick and Carter Makasoff, who got the assist there. And then finally, at 13:41, and then at 16:20, Carter Drigo with an absolute beauty gets his fourth and second of the game, his fourth of the year. Noah Logan, Cameron Menard with the assists as we get ready to start things out again. Harrison, what do the Voodoos have to do to get back in this hockey game?
The Voodoos have to tighten up the defensive zone immediately. The Paper Kings are just finding every gap available to them, making quick passes. Need to get the sticks in the lanes. That's what ended up coughing up that first power play goal, as the Powassan Voodoos were in position. They were providing the pressure, but all the passing lanes were wide open, and you allowed the cross-zone pass for Drigo to bury it in the back of the net. Tighten up the gaps in all aspects of your defensive game, and the Voodoos will be looking a lot better. They have 19 shots towards the net of Helke, and Helke, he's going to be difficult to beat tonight, as we saw him stonewall Justin Rousseau in the final 10 seconds of the previous period.
We are back underway. Carter Drigo right off the face-off looking for the hat trick, and he gets bullied off by about 4 different Voodoo players. But he's able to gain zone possession, and now it's picked up, and there's a shot from a tight angle. And that one almost fooled Rugenhill, but he's able to keep it out. A good opportunity there from Owen Smith. Talked about him at the top of the game. He has had one heck of a start of his season, the former U16 Trapper, as there was a good chance as Helke flashes the leather to make the save. Another high-flying start to this period. It's dumped in deep. And it's picked up by the Voodoos the other way. Here's Kratz. Over to Dawson. Dawson looking for the cross-ice pass, and he fans on it. He was looking for Cowell. Cowell now. He picks the pocket, and he gets in. Dawson stays on side. Cowell dips and dodges around his man and gets it behind the net. But it'll be picked up there by Espanola. Tenawanakwit gets it out to the front. Here's Coates. Coates versus Speed. He's got Guthrie with him. His shot is into the body of the defender. Now Voodoo's back the other way. With a burst of speed, here comes Powassan. Good opportunity there, as it was Saginaw who had boys with him, but he wasn't able to get a pass away. But here's Cowell. Cowell behind the net. He's going to be looking out in front. He loses the puck, gets it up in the near side. Cowell spins and looks for a man in front, but it ends up going to Helke, and he sends it into the corner. Saginaw behind for Cowell. Cowell looking for a quick pass. It goes off the back of the net. Back to the net. There was an opportunity. Now here's the Paper Kings the other way. Menard keeps it. Now the other way is Saginaw. He has boys with him. Saginaw to boys, and no one was there to pick it up. Cowell has it. Far side. In front. Shot by boys into the body of Helke, and what an opportunity. And again, we see joining up in the rush is Ben Gisoni, as I'm getting these names right.
Absolutely.
By the end of the game.
Ben Gisoni has been terrific at forcing things to happen at neutral ice, joining the rush, and Ryan Saginaw with a couple of huge opportunities. The Voodoos coming out with the same pressure that we saw Espanola providing early on, getting a couple of good chances.
Right off the draw. Good play there by Lascelles. Lascelles is able to pick up his own shot. He goes down into the boards. The box trying to get it out of the zone. Now the Voodoos do. Another burst of speed. 2-on-2. They've got a trailer with them as well. It goes into the corner as they lose the handle, and now there's a couple of Voodoo players behind the net looking out in front, and the puck is loose now in the high slot, picked up by the Paper Kings. Paper Kings now the other way into the Voodoo zone. They send it into the corner. The box picks it up behind the Voodoo's net. There was offside, so they had to tag up, which killed that drive. Now the Voodoos looking through. They get tripped. There is going to be a penalty as the ref has his name on, but now dancing through. Shot. Puck is loose right there. What a chance for the Voodoos, as it was Mason Brownlee who was trying to dance around Helke. Helke sticks the pad out, and then it's touched up to send the blow the whistle, but going to the box now. Assuming it'll be a tripping call. Just got to see who the perpetrator was.
And there goes Helke again, making a desperation save, keeping this a one-goal game for his team, despite the penalty coming, Helke has stayed on top of things, and an opportune chance for the Voodoos just not going their way. But they will have another attempt on this power play, their second of the game.
It was Warren Farver, number 14, who goes off for the Paper Kings. But now there's going to actually be a penalty against the Voodoos, so we're going to be 4-on-4. We'll have to wait to get the call. Maybe there was something after the fact, as in the box. We'll have to wait to get the official call. It's 20-something. I can't quite see the other number, but we'll wait for the official call and update you when we have that. Face-off won by the Paper Kings. So it looks like there'll be a cross-checking penalty to Powassan. We'll just have to wait for the actual player name there, as the Paper Kings have possession in the Voodoo zone. Puck behind the net. It was Graydon Guthrie who had it.
So it's Heath Bradley in the box.
There you go. Now here's a chance for Saginaw. Again, 4-on-4 here. As you said, Bradley going off for cross-checking. I thought it was a 21. Couldn't get the exact number. It was either him or Cowell. And now here come the Voodoos. Speaking of Cowell, he has the puck now, and he shoots it right into the body of Helke. Will hang on. 23-9 now the shots for the Voodoos. But you have to think the chances, if we were looking at this from goal-scoring opportunities, it's still in favor of the Paper Kings.
Absolutely. They're keeping up the pressure in the zone. It's just the amount of shots they're firing just aren't quite finding the pads or the back of the net of Rugden Hill, of course, except for the first 2 goals of this game.
Face-off is one, kind of a tie there, but it's the Voodoos who pick up possession. And now there's going to be a tripping call as an errant stick there from Dylan Roussel ends up tripping up his man, and that's going to be now a 4-on-3 opportunity for 59 seconds. And we know that Peter Goulet loves discipline. He's not going to be too happy with his team in that first period. He's probably not going to be too happy with his team in the first 4 minutes of this second period.
I mean, things started so well for the Voodoos coming into this second period. They kept up the pressure. They had some prime scoring opportunities. You get what looks like a power play given to you. That turns into a 4-on-4. Great. There's lots of space here. And then an errant pass forces a penalty to happen, and again, you're on the back foot.
So 4-on-3 for 1 minute. Face-off won by the Voodoos. They've been great on face-offs when they've had to in the offensive and defensive zone. They send it all the way down. Helke's going to leave it, as it will be picked up there by number 28, who is not on our score sheet. That's Samuel Gravel. Now Menard. Menard for Gravel. He is on game day, though, thankfully. As here's now Menard. Back again, looking for Smith. They lose it, and now almost an opportunity for Rousseau. There's going to be another penalty here to the Voodoos. Or, sorry, it's the Paper Kings who are going to get penalized, as Rousseau is able to draw the penalty. And going to the box is now Smith, and we've got it's not a big box to begin with, and there's now 2 players from each time. So, to try to break this down, there's still 18 seconds left on the original 2 penalties to each team. 1:19 left on the second penalty for the Voodoos, and then now the full 2 minutes. So it's 3-on-3 for the next 18 seconds, and then we'll be 4-on-4 for 1:19.
So Bradley with the initial, then Farver getting that one for tripping, Roussel, and now Owen Smith in the box.
Talked about Owen Smith earlier on in this game. Hasn't been too much of a factor as Guthrie tries to find a man in front. That was Carter Makasoff. But it was a good defensive play there by Powassan to deny the chance. And now here's a good outlet pass for Dawson. Dawson's looking for some help. Dawson now trying to get it in front for Cowell, but it hits off the side of the net. It's now 4-on-4. 47 seconds until the Voodoos get a very short 20-ish second power play. Makasoff has it. Makasoff, top of the corner. He looks to send it in the zone, and it's blocked by Dawson. Now looking for the outlet. Dawson's all alone. Dawson on the breakaway. Danson shoots. He scores! Caleb Dawson, and how about that? Dawson with his second of the game. And all of a sudden it's 2-2. Both teams have only needed one person to put the puck in the back of the net. It was Drigo for the Espanola Paper Kings, and Caleb Dawson now with his second for the Powassan Voodoos. It's 2-2.
And you saw those 4 players on the ice figure out what was going to work really quickly. Dawson was in with the initial attack, was able to get in deep and set up a scoring opportunity. The Paper Kings chased after, they were able to clear, but because the Paper Kings have been putting the pressure up so high, Dawson was able to slip in behind the 2 defenders, get that outlet pass, and capitalize on that second opportunity. A great heads-up play by Caleb.
Dawson did the classic, what we would call in the school playground. Now here's an opportunity for Lefebvre, and it's stopped by Helke. What we call in the playground cherry picking, as he was right at the blue line, but what an outlet pass. Coates now brings it up for Espanola, looking to regain that lead. Again, Justin Russo just missed out on a glorious opportunity with 10 seconds left in that first period to tie things up. It could be a 3-2 game, but you can't live in the world of what-ifs. As Jesse Lefebvre has it. Still 4-on-4. Now back to 5-on-4 as the Voodoos now officially on a power play. And I think the question now becomes, as it's going to be an icing call, I think the question becomes, who's going to get a hat trick first, Drigo or Dawson at this point?
I mean, I didn't think that was the conversation we were going to be having going into this night. We were expecting a lot of goals to be put up. 4 on the board so far, about halfway through this game here. But it really becomes that conversation as both those lines have kind of had the prime scoring, not just because they've got the goals to the back of the net, but because they've been creating the most opportunities as well.
Voodoos win the faceoff, bringing it up is Lefebvre. Lefebvre not able to do anything with it, loses possession behind his net, sent all the way down by the Paper Kings. That should just about do it for the penalty as Owen Smith getting ready to come out. Burst of speed here for the Voodoos. There's a shot into the glove of Helke off the stick there of Dylan Russell. And then he gets knocked down after the shot with 13:34 to go in this second period. And we have a 2-2 hockey game.
It's been a while since the Paper Kings have managed to sneak something through to Rugden Hill's net. But so far, it's been all Voodoos in this past minute or two. Speed, forechecking, and scoring opportunity.
Voodoos another face-off win. They have possession behind the net, digging it out, looking for somebody in the high slot, but they're not able to get the pass through, and then it's dumped up by Espanola. Not quite out, now it's out. And now the rush the other way is Drigo. He's got a man with him. He shoots, and it goes high and wide. Carter Drigo looking for the hat trick. Him and Caleb Dawson both on 2 goals. There's a shot from the point, high and wide over the glove side. Puck behind the net. Puck still behind the net, and now it's going to be collected there by Mason Brownlee before he loses possession, and now Brownlee fighting for it again on the far side boards with Lucas Dubois from Espanola. But it's the Voodoos who win the fight, and they have possession behind their own net. As going off for a change now is Espanola, looking for the outlet pass. There's no icing as it comes off the stick there of Raphael Laundrie. One of the newcomers for the Voodoos this year. Laundrie has it behind his own net, looking out in front. That's blocked off the skate there of Warren Farver, who was part of that whole penalty, as it's going to be an offside. Now they have to check up, and they don't touch, so the play continues. But there's a heads-up move by Powassan number 17, Owen Head, another former Trapper. Spent last season with the U18 AAA team. Had a pretty good season as well. Puck's going to go up and off a couple bodies and out of play. 8 minutes gone in the second period, and it has been an exciting one.
It certainly has. The pressure has increased for both teams as the Voodoos tie this one back up, and they've been doing those small things a lot better that they weren't in the first. They're checking a lot better. They're creating more pressure in their own zone, getting sticks in front of the lanes, and especially clogging up this neutral zone and forcing those turnovers.
Reed DeBox has it at the line. His shot, he scores! What a goal, Reed DeBox! It might have taken a tip on the way there, as Coates is not too happy with the call. They're saying it went behind the net. So hold the phone here. They're saying it didn't go into the net. It's behind the net. The Voodoos are celebrating as if they scored. It looked from our angle that maybe it floated through the 5-hole of Helke, but it looked a little strange, and now the referees are going to convene. The linesman definitely saw something that maybe the referees missed. The referee was right there, though.
All the way through, we had a great angle from it up here in the broadcast, quote-unquote, booth, as we saw the initial shot go through traffic and take a deflection. We saw the net pop, but it was hard to see what side of it went through.
Cameraman Mike Brown, did you see what happened? Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. No, he's shaking his head. It's his birthday. It's okay.
And his high-speed cameras pointed at the other net this time.
Yeah, I know. Wow, what a guy. You're going to get some great shots of Rudenhill, but unfortunately, that would have been the time. That would have been the time, Mike. Wow, what a guy. But this is a big, important part of the game, because right now, if this goes in, it's 3-2 Powassan, back-to-back unanswered goals, and it was just weird. So from my angle, the box floats it in. It looked like Helke spread his 5-hole, and then it just went through. It was a very weird type of goal. Right after all four Paper Kings, they're going to say no goal here. As after they convene, of course, we don't have any replay, as now they're going to go talk to the benches. But they picked the puck up out of the that little flap on the back of the net.
Yeah, and that may have been it. Is just the side of the net popped and died, and it looked like it went through.
The only thing I can think is if it somehow moved to Helke's left over his pad and then just embedded itself into the side of the net, which would make sense why he opened his legs. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's no goal. It's 2-2 now, 11:49 to go. I'm not even sure if Reed DeBox was the goal scorer there or if it would have hit a tip, but
it definitely redirected going through traffic.
But for one fleeting moment, DeBox was hoping. Now he gets the puck back, but decides to elects not to shoot. Comes back to DeBox. He'll send it, wrap it around the net. Picked up by Lefebvre behind the net. Lefebvre dances around a couple of guys. He circles around the corner, now floats one in, and it's blocked away by Helke. DeBox has 1 assist, was looking for his first goal. As Voodoos have possession in their own zone, looking for another breakout. Caleb Dawson looking for his third of the game, wasn't able to corral the pass, and now it's just dumped in by Makasoff. Picked up by Joseph Coates. He's had his fingerprints all over this game, as that line has been all over the place for the Espanola Paper Kings, causing a lot of havoc. And now Dawson takes a high stick, but there's no call, as you can hear the ref saying just play. Dawson now goes off to the bench. Spencer takes that pass and dumps it into the Voodoo zone. Braden Begley trying to take it out of the zone. He does, gets it into neutral ice. It then gets dumped in. It goes off of Cowell. Here's a chance, a shot. It's blocked as it came off the stick there of Owen Smith, looking for his first of the game, as Cowell almost, unfortunately for him, had to go off his body and almost set it up for a break.
As I am uniquely aware, as I'm trying to keep track of the shots in the game, I haven't put something up for Espanola in a while because the Voodoos are doing an excellent job of getting in the way of pucks. Most of them aren't finding their way onto Rudenhill's pads, posts, or anything of the like. They're either going wide or getting another guy in green in front.
26-9 the shots. Hopefully it's accurate. As here's the Paper Kings. They had a couple of numbers there coming in the slot area. They weren't able to get it in a good shooting position. Still in the Voodoo zone. Who's looking to collect? That's a pass that's out of the reach. Going to go down for icing. It was intended there for Ryan Saginaw, and now there's some shouting going on, as I don't know if that's Peter Goulet not happy too much with something, or if he's shouting at his players or the referee or what. But if you can hear it in our headset, then it's pretty loud. Although the Sportsplex not a very big arena, so you can see quite a bit. Espanola now Ferries can't keep it in the zone. Sent in by Farver, but can't quite get it in. Now he sends it in to the zone, but Saginaw picks it up just in front of the blue line for the Voodoos. Cross ice pass, looking for a green shirt. It goes all the way through to the boards, and it's picked up by Espanola. And now both teams fighting in the near corner right at the hash marks. Puck comes loose to a white jersey, and it's sent out. And now fighting. Here's a chance. Owen Smith. He's got a man with him. Owen Smith not able to get a pass out. Good defensive play there. And now a nice little dangle by Cowell. Smith with the puck. Smith loses it. Puck still loose. Tadawanowick there also with Espanola. My goal in this game is to really get that name down. I've been practicing it all day, Harrison. And here's Cowell. Or sorry, check that. That is Roussel who gets knocked down, and that's going to be a penalty against the Paper Kings.
Looks like there was a high stick behind the play with the puck as the call against the Paper Kings.
So going off to the box might be Farver. No, it's going to be Menard going off. And so the Voodoos are going to get a chance at the power play again.
This will be their second of the game.
Yeah, no power play goals, but Caleb Dawson's second was a shorthanded. The only power play goal coming by Carter Drigo, the second one for the Paper Kings, as Russo is going to be taking the faceoff against Joseph Coates. Off to the left. And now something happening over there at the Voodoos bench. Not too sure what's going on there, but Russo versus Coates. And the faceoff is won by the Voodoos. Again, another big offensive zone draw. They have had the faceoffs here. Kratz sends it to the sideboards. Kratz, it's now collected there by Dawson. Dawson has it again. Kratz gets his pocket pick. Dawson can't quite keep it in. And it's going to be the laid offside. Do the Voodoos find out? They do. So they're going to keep the phone alive. Lefebvre does not know that it's offside as he fights for the puck, and now the whistle is going to go. And we'll see where they get the face-off here, if it's going to be outside the blue line or if they're going to bring this back towards the Powassan blue line. And now things are getting chippy here, mostly from the fans.
Indeed, things are, as we said, sound travels quite significantly here in the tight corridors of the Sportsplex, and we will see the draw go back towards
into the Voodoo zone.
Into the Voodoo zone.
That definitely wasn't off. We got a really good look from our angle. You could see the puck just leaving the blue line. A good call from the linesman as Dawson was not able to keep it in as Kratz wasn't able to recover. Face-off won by, let's say, Espanola there. Kind of a tie. Good thing you're not doing the face-off one stat. But there's a broken stick now on the ice. That was an Espanola player. That was Coates now having to go. Kratz gets in. Kratz gets bumped off the puck. Puck now in the corner. Voodoo's still on the power play, but they haven't had a good chance of setting up. And now there's going to be a penalty here coming up against Powassan. And if there was anything that this, now a couple of guys are going at it. Hard to see from our angle here in the corner, but maybe some fisticuffs happening there between Jesse Lefebvre, who is small but definitely has a lot of grit as he goes into the Voodoo's bench. We'll have to see what's going on here with 8 minutes to go. You see with Guthrie holding a broken stick, pleading his case. So we'll see who's going to be heading off to the penalty box. And is it Guthrie going off? Potentially. We'll have to see. I don't know if it was Guthrie and Lefebvre who were scuffling, but he's going into the penalty box here.
Oftentimes when situations where physicality as such is involved in the NOJHL, both players end up leaving the game. So we will see how the actual calling ends up going.
Well, it's hard to see where they work because it's the kind of the blind spots, the near corners from our vantage point. You can't see super well. Now you see going at it at the Voodoo's bench there is number 11, Carter Makasoff. Again, a lot of comments here from the fans. That's always something you hear here in the Sportsplex when things get chippy. So right now there's a 4-minute penalty, a double minor on the board here for double minor on the board for Espanola, so it looks like Powassan's going to have an extended penalty and nothing on for Powassan. So we'll wait for the official callings as it gets updated here. But either way, a great opportunity for Powassan to take the lead here. They're 5-on-3. They win the face-off. Comes to the point. Cowell, he's passing along with Braden Bagley. Bagley with it. Back to Cowell. His pass not super crisp as Cowell picks it up on the backhand. Cowell back for Bagley. Bagley shoots. It's tipped high and wide off the stick of Bose. Anthony Boys looking for another goal, is fourth, and now good clearing by Joseph Coates gets it out. And Bradley comes back to collect the puck. So, as we'll give you an update here in a second. Here's Cowell back for Begley. Back to Cowell. Cowell back to Begley. Top of the circle, shoots, stopped by Helke. Cowell collects it. Now circling around. Saginaw, his pass to Cowell went behind him. And then Cowell have to restart the attempt. Cowell shoots, he scores! Caden Cowell beats Helke cleanly. And it wasn't Caleb Dawson, but another Powassan Voodoo finds the back of the net. And it's now 3-2, a power play goal. And the Voodoos are still going to be on the power play coming off this as well.
That erases the initial high-sticking penalty that was dished out to Cameron Menard. We do have the penalty call now. It is two-minute minors handed out to Graydon Guthrie for attempt to injure or deliberate injury.
Very specific call. So he gets two of those, which is why we get the double minor. So now it's going to be 5-on-4. It's always interesting. We had the same kind of thing happen in the Trappers game on Saturday when Aiden Bahari got a 5-minute major for kneeing. Ended up getting suspended for that one as well. And there was a lot of action that really helped the Sioux with their comeback that fell just short in overtime in that game. Now it's 3-2 as the referees over at the Espanola bench. And some very good chirps coming out of here out of the Powassan fans. As it's, again, you talk about the tilt of the ice here. Powassan, 3 unanswered goals. Or check that, 2 unanswered goals technically, but they're up 3-2. After the Espanola had a lot of power. Here's Russo. Russo can't find the handle. Back on the power play. Kratz looking for Russo in the far corner, but it gets blocked. Now here's Dawson. Lefebvre. He's got a man at the point. Elects to bring it up to the blue line. Sends it over to Kratz in a bit of a gutsy pass. And now it's picked up by Roussel. Roussel keeps it into Lefebvre. Lefebvre looking down for Dawson. Or check that was Rousseau. And now Dylan Roussel has it. Lefebvre, he chips it into the corner. And it'll be dumped all the way down by Espanola, so they'll have to try it again. But Coates is right on the heels as Rudenhill gives it up to Coates. Coates with it. He's looking for Drago. Drago was right there looking for the hat trick. And almost a shorthanded goal to tie things up. And now Coates gets knocked down. That was Anthony Boyes getting it. Now Coates steals it. Coates dancing with the toe drag. Now there's going to be a penalty against the Voodoos. And just like that, a cross-checking penalty is going to go against Powassan. And that's going to erase the rest of the power play opportunity, as going off to the box will be Caden Cowell. And that's when you play with fire in your own zone, you're going to get burned, and that's exactly what happens.
An unfortunate sequence of events for the Powassan Voodoos. What looks to be a casual play of the puck by Rudenhill ends up in a turnover. That creates the pressure. That forces the defenseman to scramble, try and help out their goalie, and that creates gaps. Another turnover, and Espanola doing what they have so well, just keeping up the pressure and trying to get those chances back. There's 2 minutes up on the board against the Voodoos, and still a minute 43, it looks like, in the remaining penalty from the double minor.
And they're off for their mid-period break. There's 5:41 left so far in the game. 3-2. I don't think they'd get their mid-period break in if they didn't take it now, which they usually don't when it's, well, I guess if it's even strength, which it technically is 4-on-4. But 3-2 so far, Harrison. What have you seen from the Voodoos in the last, I would say, 10 to 12 minutes that have really changed this game?
I mean, for the most part, they've tightened up their defense, which was the most glaring, I would say, stain on the first period, giving those opportunities to Espanola in order to, bring it up to that 2-goal plateau they currently sit at, and then just maintaining offense. You don't need to worry about defense when you're in the offensive zone the entire time, just relentlessly flying shots towards Helke, and again, staying out of the box as much as possible. But as things heat up here, that seems to be an impossibility for both squads.
We have seen a lot of penalties in this game. In the second period alone, there have been 8. Caleb Dawson, Caden Cowell, the 2 goal scorers here in this period, both for the Voodoos. The play gets back underway as the linesman takes a little bit of a dip. And now a shot from the point goes into the body of Rugenhill, who hasn't been too busy in the last 10 minutes or so, and he makes a nice, easy save. 27-10 the shots. I don't know if those are accurate, Harrison, as you're the one doing the shot counter. It seems a little unbelievable.
It truly does. And if we were doing shot attempts...
there's an opportunity. Backhand shot goes wide. Drigo again. He is really flirting with that hat trick tonight.
Well, if we were simply doing shot attempts, Espanola would be up by a significant margin. But as we mentioned a bit earlier, the Voodoos are doing an excellent job of getting in the way of pucks, and a lot of these high-power shots by the Paper Kings are going just wide of the net.
Ferries with it. He's got Coates with him. He's got Farver also. And he can't get the pass across. It was blocked neatly by the box. Up comes Russo. He's got nobody with him. There's 3 Paper Kings, and he decides to circle around looking for help as the Voodoos look for a change. Now here's Russo. He's almost out there. What a good play by Favreau, though, to keep it in. Good play by Warren Farver as he is able to lift the stick and stop a great opportunity for the Voodoos. Powassan bring it into the Espanola zone. Still 4-on-4. Dawson, he leaves it and then tries to pick it up again at the dot. Espanola now just dumps it back in. Drigo sends it into the Powassan zone, but on the wrong side of the red line, and that'll be an icing call. 4:13 left in the period. It's 3-2 Powassan, and there's just a handful of seconds left on the penalties, on the double minor there to Graydon Guthrie.
If you wanted to test your special teams early, this game has been the perfect proving ground for it. Both teams getting a lot of chances. And the Paper Kings, they've maintained a solid defensive zone presence. The Voodoos are up right now, but the Paper Kings are not making it an easy job.
So we'll see if the Paper Kings can do anything in the last 4 minutes. They'll have a slight man advantage as the penalty to Guthrie is just expiring. Coates loses it in his skates as he tried to enter the Voodoo zone. Millar also there with Coates. They're battling against Lefebvre, and now Coates has it. There's a pass in front. Puck still loose. Coates now backhand shot. It gets blocked. He looks for Makasov. Makasov shot stopped by Frugenhill, and the rebound that was going to go into the blue paint is gloved down and held for a whistle.
Now that's a shot on goal and a high-quality chance at that. Again, the Paper Kings doing what they've been doing well, keeping up the pressure at the blue lines, keeping up the pressure along the boards, creating that chaos, and getting the pucks out to those dangerous shooting areas. Again, Frugenhill with the opportunity to track that puck through the chaos and the open shooter.
He might not like the way you track shots, though, as the low amount of shots definitely doesn't help out his stats. And his save percentages, he's allowed 2 goals on only 13 shots. But as you said, a lot of opportunities that can't really blame him for any of the goals either. One of them was just a cross-ice pass on a power play that he had no chance of getting, and the other one was just a great shot from Drigo as he shot it through 2 defenders from the top of the circle. Flying with a burst of speed coming in was Mason Brownlee, but he wasn't able to get a shot off. DeBox from the point. This one tipped right in front, and Helke is lucky that went right into his body, as that was a last-second tip, and he's able to hold on for the whistle.
I mean, we've already seen a dangerous shot from that spot by DeBox in this game, and Helke's able to keep control of that bouncing puck that was tipped in front. Helke's done a fantastic job of sending himself to the puck, making things difficult for the Voodoos. Like 28 shots towards the net, and he's been able to stop a significant amount of them, especially under pressure, especially right in front of his crease. Helke's having an outstanding game so far.
Cowell versus Coates on the faceoff dot, won by Cowell, but it's Espanola that picks up the puck as they get to it first. Now, Menard was right there in the neutral zone, but he can't get by the 2 defenders of the Voodoos. This one going to go down, and enough for icing. It's the referee that blows that one down. 3 minutes now to go in this second period. And I always like to say second periods are probably the most important period because it can really change. If you have a poor first period, it can really get you back in the game. But if you have a bad second period, it's really hard to get back into a hockey game.
The helpful thing of a second period is you do get that break, you do get that moment to reset as that goes towards the net.
There's a shot from Logan from the point, kicked aside by Vrugenhill. Espanola trying to get clean possession here. It's kind of going back and forth in the Voodoo zone. And then the Voodoos are able to break out. There's a big hit in front of the net on Coates, as sending him to the ice was Tyler Brunet. He's coming back. Brunet's coming back from injury as he's playing in his first game. Suffered a lower body injury in Collingwood, and there's a shot. And Logan scores, puts it by, and we're back to a tie game.
And that's just open space in front of the net that should not have been given. It's a costly mistake as Espanola ties this thing up. As you said, you have a bad second period, that's hard. But if you're able to tie it back up, keep the pressure on, keep those opportunities coming your way, you're able to keep it a close game, and Logan makes sure of that.
And that was just, again, as they're going to get thrown out of the circle there. Spencer and Lefebvre kind of going after it. Smith gets thrown out of the face-off.
You know what you get, Spencer.
And the face-off will be won by Powassan. And that was one that it seemed a little harmless, and then out of nowhere, as you said, Logan gets space that he should not have had, puts it in the back of the net.
And that's what Espanola does so well. They keep up the pressure no matter what time of the game it is. And if you take your foot off the gas for even a moment, you find yourself in a situation such as this.
Noah Logan's second of the season. It was assisted there by Cameron Menard with his 7. And Ashton Pateno on him. Now there was almost an outlet pass there, but it was picked off cleanly by Kratz. And now it's going to be whistled down in the Espanola zone. $1:37 left to go.
Both teams really trying to take advantage of what we saw work for Dawson earlier in the game, sneaking in behind the defenders, getting the long stretch pass, and going on the rush. Voodoos are able to defend that quite effectively this time. But both teams have been going for it. We saw it a few plays earlier with Cowell trying to beat out the icing. Both teams being really effective and dangerous on those rushing plays.
Face-off won by Espanola. Trying to get it out. Good pressure there from DeBox. Keeps the puck in. And then able to keep it in is Anthony Boyce. Now it's stolen by Cowell. Looking for a second. What a save from Helke. Cowell that close to tying Dawson with 2 goals on the game and regaining the lead for the Voodoos. DeBox keeps it from Vrugenhill trying to cover it. And we'll see if that ends up costing them as the puck ends up going out of the zone off of Noah Logan's stick. With $1:11 left to go in the second period.
And the pace has sort of been odd in the last half of this period here as the game's all tied up now. The pacing seems a bit more even. Both teams are getting about equal chances compared to just a swath of goal scoring opportunities and high pressure chances that the Powassan Voodoos had at the top of the second 20. And then Espanola just keeping up the pressure, finding themselves with a few solid chances in Powassan's zone, and we're back to a tie game.
Logan with it in his own zone. He fires one that goes off of the body of Saginaw out of play. Saginaw did come into this game as the lone non-trapper to score with 3 goals. Caleb Dawson getting a couple of course, a former Trapper as well.
And then Carter Drigo on the other side, scoring 2 himself, and Logan being the only other on the white and green side of things. Oh, white, green, and navy blue, I should say. As we enter the last minute of play here at the Sportsplex for the second period.
Of course, Caden Cowell, also a former Trapper. So that streak, as we talked about, continues here. As just to make that clear, don't know if I made that clear before, but Caden Cowell is another former Trapper. So it's still Ryan Saginaw who has that lone lead. So Cowell has really had his breakout with the Voodoos since he coming into this league and really having a great season with him last year, as he's had some injury problems, but when he's healthy, he's one, if not the best offensive part that they have. This one looking for Drigo, and Regenheld decides not to hold it, decides to push it into the corner with 30 seconds to go, but it looks like that won't cost them. And now there's a big hit in the corner, comes up to Dubois. Dubois, his shot is blocked. Farver sends it around the back of the net, where it'll be picked up by Makasoff. And now a bunch of guys behind the net fighting for it. It comes out and it'll be cleared by Powassan with 4 seconds to go. That will do it, as Dawson fighting for it, but you won't be able to get any shot or anything away, and that will do it for the second period. So an exciting second period sees the Voodoos score 2 goals and Espanola tying things up with 1. So we're after 40 minutes. What is your takeaway so far after a very exciting and high-paced 40 minutes of hockey?
If you're going to compete with the Paper Kings, you got to keep up the pace for a full 60, or it's going to cost you, as Logan buries the tying goal. The Voodoos given every opportunity to take a big lead, but the efforts of Helke have just been outstanding through and through these 40 minutes. We saw that initial robbery at the end of the first period. We saw quite a few big-time saves from Helke there in the second, and especially with the Paper Kings being down so much, he's really been a big reason why this game is as close as it is. Paper Kings starting to claw themselves back on the shot clock. I swear I'm keeping track the best I can. 29-15 currently in favor of the home team. But the Paper Kings, they've been firing a lot towards the net, just not a lot has been hitting it, but enough to keep it a tie game. Both teams need to tighten up on the discipline, though, is a guarantee entering this final 20 minutes. You cannot give up such an opportunity with a game this close, Ben. 8
penalties, 5 of them, including, if you count the double minor, 5 penalties going towards the Paper Kings. Caleb Dawson opens the scoring short-handed at the 5:15 mark for his 4th of the year. Caden Cowell then makes it a Powassan lead with his 3rd on the power play at 13:07 before Noah Logan, his 2nd of the year, ties things up at 17:40. So we will be back for the 3rd and potentially final period of play, as it is a tie 3-3 game and a high-energy, high-octane affair between the Paper Kings and the Voodoos. We welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex, where we have at least one more period of play, and with the way this game's going, maybe a little bit extra, as it's 3-3 between the Espanola Paper Kings and the Powassan Voodoos. Taking a quick look at our scoring summary as we get ready for the third period. It started things off in the first at 10:26 with Caleb Dawson getting his third of the year. Carter Drigo ties things up on the power play at 13:41, and then he does it again just 3 minutes later at 16:20 to make it 2-1 after one. Second period, Caleb Dawson gets his second of the game, his fourth of the year at 5:15 shorthanded. Then it's Caden Cowell, his third of the year on the power play at 13:07 before Noah Logan ties things up with his second of the year at 17:40. And with Dawson and Cowell still playing, the wild stat of only 3 of the goals scored by the Voodoos not from former Trapper players is retained, as Ryan Saginaw with his 3 goals, the only non-red, white, and blue player to score for the Voodoos this season that has not come from that 11 players on this roster and another handful on the Espanola roster to boot. So the Trappers, and I saw Josh Dale here earlier, the head coach, they, also a former Voodoo coach as well, they are represented well. Espanola in their road whites, Powassan in their home greens. We kick off for the final 20. Drigo, another burst of speed off the face-off, looking for a shot, but he's not able to get it. Dawson the other way, loses the handle as Guthrie knocks it down, but now Dawson gets it as Russo is able to keep it in. Puck comes to Smith. Smith over for Drigo. Drigo already with a world-class goal shooting it between 2 defenders for his second of the game, was looking to do it again. Behind the net, wrapping around is Marcus Kratz. Kratz has had his fingerprints all over this game as well, both on the offense and in the penalty box as well as defensively. So in almost all aspects of it. Cowell looking in front. Cowell, it bounces off. Cowell all alone. And what a save from Helke. Everybody in the building thought it went in. And somehow Helke keeps it out to keep it a 3-3 game.
So that's 3 for 3 periods where Helke has done an outstanding save. Stonewalling Russo in the first, stopping right before a power play in the second, and then opening up this third period with what looked like a sure thing for the Voodoos. But this game remains tied, once again, thanks to his efforts.
Espanola not done yet. They're looking as Menard brings it into the zone. He brings his man down. There's going to be a penalty on the play. It's going to go against the Paper Kings as Coates touches up. And what should probably be a tripping call to Menard will send the Espanola captain to the penalty box. And as we said, in that last period alone, 8 penalties, and we see our first of the third. So clearly any sort of disciplinary talks between the Paper Kings in the dressing room didn't quite sink in.
And that was one thing we talked about, definitely need to be brushed up on by both teams, is you need to remove the penalties you're taking. It would be quicker to read War and Peace in the summary from last period, and here we are again with the Paper Kings on the man disadvantage. The Voodoos having the perfect opportunity to bring this one back.
Tough when your captain goes in the box, but speaking of captains, Justin Russo's taking it against Coates. And Coates wins the faceoff, but they're not able to get it out, and the Voodoos retain offensive zone pressure. Lefebvre has it at the near side, gets around Coates. Lefebvre still with it at the top of the slot. His shot, he fans on it, but is able to send the puck into the corner. Russo has it, back to Lefebvre. He sends it over, a nice little toe drag there from Dylan Roussel. His shot goes right into the body of Helke, but a great opportunity and a great attempt there at the top of the circle.
Lefebvre holding the puck, making space, and getting those opportunities for the Voodoos. We can't talk enough about how the Voodoos have been winning these offensive zone draws.
This one won by Owen Smith, but a good off the draw play by Lefebvre gives the Voodoos possession. Russo sends it out in front. He was looking for Dawson, but he couldn't get it past the outstretched stick of the defender, Graydon Guthrie. Now the puck comes loose. It's right there for Helke, and he's able to get himself down on that puck to cover as Dawson on the doorstep. Him and Drigo both on 2 goals in this game, both looking for a hat trick. Talked about this. Caleb Dawson, 107th game in the NOJHL, leads the team in that regard. Remember when he went from that trophy-winning AAA team, Trapper team, and then had his early season struggles, as most do when they jump up to a new league. Really has found his own, as he did have a bit of a goal drought last season, but has found his goal-scoring touch in the first 4 games here. Anthony Boyce fighting for it for the Voodoos in the far corner. Also in there is number 21, Heath Bradley. Back to the point, Cowell. And now here's a chance. Boyce shot. It's kicked aside by Helke and then sent all the way down. Power play still in effect here. As now sent out of the way is Vruggendil. And that starts the draw. Here's Boyce, his shot, and it's stopped by Helke, sent into the corner. Short-handed now as the power play getting ready to expire. Vruggendil will glove it down. He misses it, and that gives a shot opportunity there to Owen Smith, but it's right off the pad of Vruggendil. Now still a big hit, but the puck is still in the possession of the Voodoos. There's the shot. It's stopped. Rebound. No one there to pick it up. This is going to go all the way down. Still no icing. Vruggendil comes out to play it. He plays it off the glass, but it's picked up by Coates. Coates dances around his man. Coates still there. His shot, and that goes off a body into the corner. Cowell now, the other way. He's got a man with him. Cowell, his shot's tipped. Puck is loose right there, but not able to put it down. Was Marcus Kratz, and now Lefebvre not able to get there. Is he going to win the foot race? He just does. But now the puck's still loose and picked up by Kratz. Sends it over to Roussel. Roussel gets it into the Espanola zone. Roussel was pinching in, but he couldn't pull the trigger as it's just past him. Back and forth as good play by Roussel to keep it in. A lot of transition games here in a arena where you kind of have to. Not a lot of neutral zone space. Definitely encourages a lot of end-to-end play. Caden Cowell in it behind his own net. Drops it off for his defender. Kratz sending it off, banking it off the boards. He was looking there for Raphael Landry. Kratz now as it gets sent back into his zone. He plays it off. Menard, fresh out of the box, is also looking to apply pressure on the pinch, and Voodoos struggling to get out of their own zone. Paper Kings still with possession, but the puck is kind of bouncing around, wrapping around the boards. And finally with the puck is Devron Brown. His pass not good enough. This is going to go off of Logan's stick, and the Paper Kings had to check up, and now a miscue there off the stick of Mason Brownlee, but the puck ends up getting pushed to Vruggendil, who will hold on for a face-off. And something that we saw a lot in the first period was just a lot of defensive zone miscues from the Voodoos.
Indeed, and Espanola is trying to take keen advantage of that, keeping up that pressure. An excellent forechecking sequence by the Paper Kings, followed off of the back of a very intense penalty kill. The Voodoos had their chances, but the Paper Kings in the right spot to keep this tie game.
15-20 to go. In this third period, still a 3-3 game. Both teams have had their chance to take the lead. Reed the box, plays it around, and again, some of these outlet passes are just bouncing around the sticks and they're not able to get them cleanly, are the Voodoos. Cowell with it. He sends it back to Jackson Marnell. Another newcomer here for the Powassan Voodoos. Marnell sends it in. He goes to dump and chase. Also chasing there was Tyler Brunet. Now the puck comes loose. Here's Brunet as this is his first game. Another former Trapper. His first game back after missing a bunch of time with an injury that he suffered back in Collingwood, and now able to keep it onside. No, Reed the box just on the wrong side of the blue line as a couple of men down. Mazikov, also Jesse Lefebvre in a bit of a scuffle on the far side.
Lefebvre mixing it up tonight with quite a few different players on the Paper Kings. Plays with that very intense style, close along the boards. And we'll see the draw appears just outside of the Paper King zone. Shots now 36-19. Espanola getting quite a few quick opportunities here in the top of the third period. 14:43 remaining on the clock.
I like that, top of the third period.
Top of the third.
Little baseball reference there. Jay's trying to lock up the AL East.
Let's not talk about their score tonight.
It's going to be a tough, tight end to their season. Locked up playoffs, but still looking to lock up the division. Paper Kings looking to apply. There's a chance right out in front. Rudenhill, as that one almost slipped by him, he had to stretch out the pad, and he's able to hold on. That would have been one heck of a way to make it a 4-3 Espanola lead, as that one, a very slow roller that Rudenhill had to get his pad back out to make the stop.
A truly sneaky pass to the slot there. I don't think anyone really expected it to become as dangerous as it did, but Rudenhill tracking that one all the way through. Paper Kings hitting that 20 shot on goal mark.
Pitawanakwit wins the face-off. Now here's Boys. Burst of speed. Boys, he's got a man with him. Puck comes and it gets dropped off, and almost Ryan Saginaw was on the line. Take that shot. Other way, Espanola. And now there's going to be a penalty coming up. Should be an interference call, I believe. The perpetrator looks like it will be Loisel, who's going off to the box, number 18 in white. And now the second man advantage Powassan has had in this period. Again, the Paper Kings, 5 penalties in that second period, 1 penalty in the first period. This is now, I said, the 8th time they're going to the penalty box, which is not something you want to see. And now they're trying to figure out their line changes as the referee is not allowing this Owen Smith to come on the ice. Paper Kings need one more man out there, and now coming back on the ice. Just waiting to see him turn around. That might be Owen Smith again. Either that or it's Cameron Menard. Face-off won by Powassan either way. Cowell with it at the hash marks. He tries to put one in front. Nobody was there. Boys with it. Boys behind the goal line. Banks it off the boards. Gets it back to Roussel. Little give and go, boys. Shot goes wide. Cowell racing to keep it in, and now racing to keep it from being a breakaway from Menard, who, of course, was trying to go for a change, but was not allowed to switch with his teammate Owen Smith. And now, speaking of Smith, he's applying pressure now, and here's a shorthanded opportunity for Espanola. Menard and Smith causing havoc in the Voodoos zone. Well, the Voodoos have the man advantage, and you can never tell. Here's Smith with it. Behind the net, the puck's right there. Menard, they're fighting for it. The puck is in, and Espanola is going to take the lead. It looks like Owen Smith is going to get credit with that goal as he leads the train back to the bench. A shorthanded goal makes it 4-3 Espanola, and we talk about that pressure. The constant pressure by Espanola finally comes back to bite the Voodoos.
It's just relentless on the forecheck, and the Paper Kings penalty kill tonight already had 3 shorthanded goals in 5 games. Now in this 6th, they tally up another. Their penalty kill has just been relentless thanks to that aggressive stature that they take on the penalty kill. And instead of the golden opportunity for the Voodoos, they end up down a goal with 13:25 remaining in the game.
What a game we are witnessing here. Now with a burst of speed coming in, the Voodoos looking to remain perfect as that gets fired into the Voodoos zone. Still on the power play is Powassan. 3-0 to start the season. They're looking to go 4-0. Paper Kings looking to get back into winning ways. They dropped 2 games. They ended up winning their last one. They're looking to keep that going and start a streak. After a great start to the season. And the Voodoos are also a chance to tie with the lone game happening here in the NOJHL. With 2 games in hand, a win here would put them tied for Hearst with a lead. I know it's early to talk standings, but the lead in the NOJHL standings. And now a big hit on Lefebvre by Coates. Lefebvre still standing, though. Puck comes loose behind the goal. It gets sent back to the point. Russo finding Kratz. Kratz finding Russo. Power play still on Russo's shot, and now there's going to be a penalty as Helke goes down. Lefebvre is going to go to the box. And we talk about discipline. What an untimely play there as Russo is getting lined up to take a shot. Down goes Helke. Off to the box goes Lefebvre. And now it's going to be 4-on-4 as some extracurricular there from Farver and looks like Caleb Dawson. With 12:28 to go, and Espanola with a 4-3 lead. And when you're down a goal, you don't want to see yourself put into a spot where you're going to be down a man.
Indeed, Ben, when it rains, it pours, and things started to look good for the Voodoos, but it's just been rolling the Paper Kings' way. Can't be going down a man, and we saw, looks like, again, our friend the stanchion not doing us any favors with the time left on the power play for the Voodoos, but we will have at least a few seconds of 4-on-4 here. Espanola has been taking advantage of the space, and they will have plenty of it here on the man advantage when that time comes.
LaSalle getting ready to get out of the box. When it does expire, it'll be a power play opportunity for Espanola. The good news for Powassan, though, one of the goals that they scored was shorthanded. And now speaking, here's a chance. Russo, he's fighting for it. He's going up against Matthew Spencer. He wins the race. Right out in front. What a good stick. There, as just getting a stick on it is Cameron Menard, the captain. Or else that would have been a wide open chance on Helke. Menard brings it in onside. He's got Smith with him. Goes back to Coates. Goes back to the point. The shot is blocked and goes wide. A shot attempt there by Makasoff. Makasoff keeps it in. Makasoff fans on the shot opportunity. It goes over for Smith. Smith, power play now in effect. Espanola, Smith shoots, stopped by Vrugdenhill, who has not had a lot of help from his defense in this game. Can't really blame him for too many of the other goals. Puck in the near side, 56 seconds on the man advantage. Makasoff looking to keep it in, and he's not able to. So Espanola will have to check up. Coates with it. Coates brings it in onside. Coates looking for Menard or Smith, who is going to the slot area. Back the other way is Cowell. Cowell shorthanded. He's got a man with him. His shot is stopped by Helke and goes into the corner. Powassan now with possession. Roussel dumps it in to Helke, who will hold on as Cowell applies pressure. And that will mean 10:58 to go, 32nd on the power play. It's a 4-3 Paper Kings lead. Don't go anywhere, as anything could happen in the next 10 minutes or so.
Cowell's had a few of those dangerous zone entries here throughout the game, trying to make things happen alone, and he's been looking aggressive, looking good with the chances he's been getting. But again, Helke's been squaring up to the shooter time and time again, keeping things tight for his team, and it's been enough for them to come back and take a lead here in the third.
Well, that block attempt now sets a break here for Espanola. Coming in Spencer, he's pass over to Drago's looking for the hat trick. Drago still with it. Drago dancing around a number of men, and a good poke check there from Cowell, and the puck comes out of the zone. 12 seconds to go. On the penalty there to Jesse Lefebvre, who got the minor for interference with the goaltender while they were on the power play. Now there's some cheers coming from the fans here, as there was a collision near the Powassan blue line. Puck comes the pass to Spencer. Breaks through. Another penalty coming here to the Voodoos as they just finished killing one. And it's going to be a hooking call, as there's some rough stuff after the whistle. And we just talked about how the Voodoos don't want to shoot themselves in the foot. And what do? It's another call. And going off to the box here, looks like it's going to be Roussel, I believe, if that is a 27. Which it is. So Dylan Roussel, who's had a really good game, I think for the most part, especially offensively, he's going to find himself in the box. And knowing Peter Goulet, he's a guy who loves his discipline, and he is not going to be a fan of this. And if you talk to him after this game, I guarantee you, even if the Voodoos win at this point, that'll be the biggest thing that he talks about.
And a lot of these penalties can be chalked up to blown defensive coverage, trying to make up for mistakes.
Espanola with possession. Great chance not to just kill off time, but also give them a 2-1 lead. And just out of the outstretched reach of Coates, and that will give some reprieve to the Voodoos. Early on, 16 seconds into this man advantage. Guthrie fans on it, and Dawson didn't see it. If Dawson would have saw that, he would have had a good chance on goal. And now another fan from Espanola, as Ferries miffs it. Puck behind the net, looking for the high slot area. Now the backhand pass found nobody into the corner. Puck on the near side, Menard, the captain, shoots, he scores! A power play goal from Menard. 5-3, and with 9:36 to go, it's going to be an uphill battle for Powassan to try to keep their perfect record intact.
And the Paper Kings just, again, forechecking effectively. Even off of those whiffs on neutral ice, they gain the zone well. They move the puck cleanly. They get the flow going. They get to the top of the slot and just fire one through traffic. I don't think Vrugdenhill had much of a chance of seeing that one from the top. And on the 24th shot of the game, it's now a 2-goal lead with 9:36 remaining. Discipline, discipline, discipline. You have to stay out of the box.
And it all comes down to those missed plays in the defensive zone. Even that fourth goal that Espanola scored was because of that. But the Voodoos still have a chance here. They can come back in the 9 minutes. If you're Espanola, you want to continue to play the game that you've played. Very impressive game tonight for the Paper Kings. They've been known as high-flying, high-scoring back in the time when they had the Lucas Signorettis of the world. And they haven't missed a step. They always find those really good, nimble goal scorers. And this time it's the captain, Cameron Menard, is 6th of the year on the power play. And you talk about shorthanded or man advantage goals. 3 goals coming from the Paper Kings as we get into our mid-period break. 3 goals coming, 2 of them on the power play, 1 of them shorthanded. And a lot of men in the box, even in this period, Harrison. Both teams have been in the box twice.
Well, entering this game, the Paper Kings had 27 power play opportunities and only scoring on 4 of them. Now, they have upped that number significantly, scoring 2 alone in this game, as well as a shorthanded goal forward. Things have just been rolling and rolling and rolling for the Paper Kings in this last half of the game.
So, third period scoring summary so far at 6:30. Owen Smith was his 5th of the season, shorthanded from Cameron Menard. And then, of course, Cameron Menard himself at 10:24. The power play goal that right now is the dagger in the heart of the Voodoos unless they can come back here. His 6th of the year from Joseph Coates and Graydon Guthrie. We talk about penalties. A minute 7 in. Cameron Menard, speaking of him, he's had his fingers all over this period so far. Went into the box for tripping. Colton Loisel also goes into the box at 5:47 for interference. Then it kind of goes downhill. Jesse Lefebvre, interference to the goaltender on the power play, 7:32, and then Dylan Rossell, the hooking minor, as it's going to be an offside call against Thompson, who wasn't able to keep it in. And again, you look at that second period, and there were eight penalties assessed between these two teams. There's now been a total of, quick math here, 15 penalties in this hockey game.
It's quickly won by Espanola. They're just keeping up the pressure here as they win this.
Well, no greater defense is there than a strong offense. You can't score when you have possession of the puck in your opponent's zone. Speaking of the zones, puck's in Espanola zone. Thompson comes back to play it, but a strong play there from Tyler Brunet keeps it in the zone and possession for the Voodoos. Now back to the point. A fan shot kind of works out as a pass. Then a shot was almost tipped in by Brunet. What a way for him to return the lineup. Now dancing through was Marcus Kratz, going through a couple of Paper Kings. Puck to the point. The shot from Roussel goes high and wide. Looking to atone for the penalty he took earlier. But a nice way to get the Voodoos back within 1. And if you're Powassan, you kind of want to get a goal here within the next 3 or 4 minutes. Here's Roussel. Roussel goes through, then he gets bumped off the puck and is cleared away by the Paper Kings. That'll go down for icing, as now the Voodoos are starting to apply pressure following the mid-period break. I'm sure they got some spirited words from their coaching staff to try to push them into at least sending this to an overtime period.
Indeed, and there was a few solid opportunities on that sequence there. Roussel's been dangerous from the point, making things happen, making plays go the Voodoos' way. But again, the defense and the aggressiveness of the Espanola Paper Kings has just reigned supreme here in the third period.
7:44 to go. 5-3. Espanola has the lead. Dawson's shot is stopped by Helke. I don't think he realized that he got a glove on that one as he kind of looked towards the corner, but it's cleared away by Espanola. Then it's cleared back into the Espanola zone. Thompson has it behind his own net. Thompson's getting bullied off the puck there. Strong play from Rousseau. Top line out there now for the Voodoos. Trying to weave through is Lefebvre, but he ends up getting knocked off the puck. The puck goes out of the zone. They'll have to check up as Dawson tries to send it in as well, but Thompson getting his body in, and now Dawson gets it back in the neutral zone and will rip it into the Paper Kings behind the net. Another steal from Boys in the neutral zone. They've got to keep it, and then Rousseau didn't quite touch it. but enough. They're going to call it for offside, and this is going to go all the way back into the Voodoos zone, I believe, as they call it intentional offside.
It's just been these little details that have been biting the Voodoos. And again, giving Espanola free zone time is something you cannot be doing at this juncture of the game.
And I think if there's something that has summed up the last couple of seasons for the Powassan Voodoos, it's close, but no cigar. As again, they have a chance to tie Hearst, get some good points early on in the season. They're going to drop some points here unless they can find something in the next 6 minutes. We've seen that in the finals. We've seen that in the playoffs. They haven't quite been able to go across the finish line. As here's Cowell. Cowell trying to put things in his own hands. But he's able to get it in the corner, but then finds himself into two Espanola players. Puck comes out to the near side. Now comes behind the net, looking in front of the slot, looking for a wide open DeBox, but it goes off a stick as they're able to block the passing lane. DeBox has it now in his own zone on the far side hash marks. It's dumped in. Helke's just going to glove it down. He's going to play it to his forward Coates, and Coates is going to start the breakout. Coates is now blowing a tire there. Was Heath Bradley. As now the puck skips out over the stick of Menard. But Menard has a penalty, an assist, and a goal in this period alone. Big reason why, excited maybe from the penalty, but a big reason why they're up 5-3 right now. That's what you got to need from your captain. The question is, can Russo, who's the Voodoos captain, answer himself with his line? Seen some opportunities, but we haven't seen them be able to connect. Here's Menard. He's got Smith with him. Smith all alone. He shoots. Frugenhill makes the save. What a save. It looked like it might pop in, but he extends the pad. And Owen Smith gets absolutely robbed, and this was very close to being 6-3.
Just an outstanding extension by Frugenhill. And again, just the blown defensive coverage. Another odd man rush for Espanola, and they almost take full advantage, doubling up the Voodoos score, but still 5-3 and 5:24 remaining. The Voodoos are still in this. In the first game of the season, we saw them score 4 times, but 3 times within roughly 4 minutes. By the pace Espanola is going, they're going to have to turn up the afterburners.
Speaking of the afterburners, going in with a burst of speed is Owen Head. And that was 1-2 with that save from Frugenhill. I was just waiting to see if the referee was going to point into the net, as it was hard to see from our angle if he actually got all of that in the pad, which he was able to. Now a steal, top of the corner, a shot coming off the stick there of Head is right into the body of Helke, who will make another save. Now 40-25 the shots with 4:59 to go. The Voodoos they're going to need a lot here. 2 goals. That second goal from Cameron Menard might be the dagger here, as it's going to be a tall task. The question is, when do they decide to pull Frugenhill? Imagine it's going to have to be within the next 3 minutes or so. He's not Patrick Waugh. You're not going to see the, 8 minute to go pull, but we'll see if we see it with maybe 2-3 minutes left. See what Peter Goulet has going on in his head as it's cleared out of the Espanola zone, picked up by Kratz. Marcus Kratz looking over for his defensive partner, Roussel, who sends it into the Paper Kings zone, and then the Paper Kings just trying to get it out as now the 27s battle it out between Smith and Roussel. Roussel wins it as he dumps it into the corner, but it's picked up by Thompson for the Paper Kings, and now his outlet pass banked off the boards and just out of the outstretched reach. And now here's Dawson. Dawson looking for the hat trick and looking for his line mate, Jesse Lefebvre, and he's not able to get there. Puck in the Voodoo zone, behind the net. Brown with it. Over for Cowell. Cowell looking for Brown, almost loses it to Dubois. Cowell looking to get it sent out by Saginaw, now the other way. Here comes Millar, he's got Dubois with him. Millar to Dubois, his shot, what a save from Frugenhill. He was down, sprawled on the ice. He lifts up his upper body enough to get the blocker on it. And a big save, another one from Frugenhill. And now the other way, the Voodoo shot save. Great opportunity from Anthony Boyes to extend his scoring streak. With 3 goals in 3 games, it's held by Helke, and another save on the other side from Frugenhill with Ryan Houlihan, the North Bay Battalion coach, in the building tonight. despite giving up 5 goals, you got to be impressed with some of the play that he's had. Can't really blame him too much for any of these goals.
Honestly, the first one on that power play was something spectacular. And honestly, Drigo with that follow-up goal, just a shooter shot, beating him cleanly. But in the past few minutes here, Vrooden Hill has locked in and stopped 2 massive scoring opportunities. You can't say he's not giving the Voodoos every chance to claw their way back in this. 3:38 remaining, but still chances to be had.
Shades of former Voodoo, former Trapper, and current Battalion star Mike McIver. Though I would say McIver's time with the Voodoos was not super great, as he had his struggles in net, at least with allowing goals. But he said, I don't need this. He decided to go to the OHL instead and has thrived ever since. He took the pipes from Dom DeVincentis in the playoffs after Dom went down injured and has kept there ever since and has continued to be a bright spot. Has been with the Anaheim Ducks at their camp the last couple of years. 3:14 to go. 2 goals are what the Voodoos need. Espanola needs to try to stop the onslaught. This is going to go down for an icing call as Russo is just a little too late, and winning the race there was Wyatt Ferries.
On to the discussion of pulling the goaltender. It's such a hard decision here against this Espanola team because even when you've been up on the man advantage, their forecheck has just been so relentless that it almost puts you at more of a disadvantage. Pulling your goalie, leaving that open, and with Espanola getting these many rushing chances as they've had, the Voodoos are going to need one here quick. 3 minutes now.
They've been applying double pressure on that press as well, and now here's a giveaway. Chance, shot, doesn't get through, rebound, shot stopped by Vrooden Hill, and then it's swatted into the net. So no goal as Smith tried to knock it down and ended up chucking it into the net, and unfortunately for him, that is illegal and will send the face-off outside the zone.
If it was volleyball, it was a perfect set, but unfortunately not the game that is being played here tonight in the Sportsplex if you are Espanola. And again, just that continued pressure, a turnover, and the Paper Kings are making the Voodoos pay at every single turn.
2:54 to go. We'll have to keep an eye on Vrooden Hill to see if they elect and when they elect to pull him. Again, they need 2 goals, and if you're the Voodoos, time's running out. You need a goal in the next 60 seconds or so if you want to try to flirt with a comeback and try to get this thing into overtime. Their perfect 3-0 record is at risk. Espanola looking for back-to-back wins after back-to-back losses. Puck in the neutral zone. The outlet pass was stopped by Kratz. Kratz now trying to bring it into the zone. He can't. Cowell now dump it in. It goes off the linesman. Vrooden Hill still in his net here. 2:24 to go. Boys with it at the side net. Vrooden Hill starting to flirt with going out there. There's a shot from the point. It's going to go out of play from Kratz, and we'll see now with an offensive zone draw if Peter Goulet will pull the trigger, and he does as he gives the signal to his netminder. Off to the bench goes number 1, and now 6 attackers versus 5. See a little bit of a whack of frustration for Cole as he's had a great game. Despite 26 shots, 5 goals, he has made a couple of big saves. Goaltending has always been a strength. You look at last year, and you look at coming in with Seibel and Wilcox, and they were so good despite losing both of their goaltenders and being a big question mark. They ended up being a huge strength for the Voodoos. Menard now to the open net, and just wide. 2 minutes to go. 6-on-5, no goalie for the Voodoos. The question is, can they get offensive zone pressure sent in to the zone, picked up there and left by goaltender Jack Helke. Here's a chance, another chance at the open net, but they can't get the shot away. Now Coates wasn't going to fire for it. Now maybe that's going to go against them as the Voodoos get pressure. 1:32 to go. They need 2. The puck is down there underneath an Espanola player. Now comes Lefebvre there. Lefebvre has it. Looking out in front. Lefebvre around the net. Looks to the point. Back to Lefebvre. Lefebvre loses it. And now going around, there's going to be a penalty against Lefebvre. Menard sends it over, and that's going to do it into the empty net. Goes Ashton, the Tanawanakwit. And that is going to do it. 6-3 will be your final with 1:10 to go. And just like that, Espanola is going to play spoil sport here in the Sportsplex on a Wednesday evening that has been nothing short of excitement.
Relentless checking round and round. And Espanola just able to, once again, win that battle at neutral ice, chip it to the open player, and bury it to the back. 42-27 currently the shots.
You got to give a lot of credit to Harrison Clements for putting the shot clock right.
That's
47-27.
I think I got it.
But you got to give a lot of credit here to Espanola for not allowing during that 6-on-5 to not allow really any offensive pressure from the Voodoos, as again, that high octane, high press, aggressive style has served them tonight and has served them in this third period when they need it. They've outscored the Voodoos 3-0, including an empty net goal. And with 30 seconds on the clock, Espanola is going to come away with a big 2 points, and the Voodoos fail to catch up to the Hearst Lumberjacks, who had the chance to tie them on points with 8 and start off perfect. It's not to be, but they will come back on Saturday night as the clock continues to die, as they're behind the net, fighting for it in Espanola territory. 10 seconds to go. Puck comes down. Vrugdenhill will play it. 6 seconds to go. He leaves it for Dawson. With a second left on the clock, that's going to do it. Might be a little bit of rough stuff after the whistle in what was a very exciting game. If you look at the final score, you might see it was a one-sided. It was not. It was back and forth all evening, 3-3 heading into this period. But really, Espanola, that was attacking, pressing, forechecking, making the Voodoos make mistakes in their own zone, and it ends up costing them the game. Harrison, as we wait for our 3 stars of the game tonight, what is your take on this performance from Powassan?
Well, this is a prime example of what you can't let Espanola do, and that's play their game. Espanola will irritate you. They will check you into the ground. They will run you. They will send wave after wave after wave, and they did so effectively. And when the Voodoos were able to counter and maintain time offensively, that's when things started going their way. They were able to stop that by hemming the Paper Kings in their own zone. But the second that they let off the gas, the second that they eased up on any pressure, Espanola, already maintaining the speed and the offense that they were able to take advantage. And that really was the decider in the game. No matter how many penalties were in this game, no matter how many shorthanded goals were scored, it all came down to pressure. It all came down to capitalizing on mistakes. And it comes down to the 6-3 scoreline for the Espanola Paper Kings.
The Paper Kings a well-deserved win, as they were, as you said, all about the pressure tonight, and the Voodoos just could not contain them. On the other side, Powassan has to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And they will look to, as they are back to hosting on Saturday night, as they will be hosting the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners, as we're ready for our 3 stars. Caleb Dawson gets the 3rd star.
Jack Helke getting the 2nd star of the game.
And Captain Cameron Menard getting, as you would expect, the 1st star. And what a third period from him. He takes a penalty to begin, assists a goal, and then scores what would be the much-needed insurance goal. And from there, kind of put the game to bed about halfway through that period. So we will see you again on Saturday night as Powassan goes on the road to Kirkland Lake on Friday, comes back to the Sportsplex on Saturday to host the Iroquois Fall Storm. It should be exciting, as unfortunately for the Voodoos, they are handed their first loss of the season as they fall to the Espanola Paper Kings 6-3 final. For Harrison Clements, I'm Ben Sargent. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you were listening on the Frontline YouTube channel or watching on Flow Hockey. We hope you have a great rest of the night, and we will see you back in the Sportsplex on Saturday for another edition of Voodoos Hockey.